Hello, welcome to a very special Doobies and Movies episode. One with zero guests, so it's just me. As I break down what to watch and not to watch from the month of November, I did do a write up last month in October, but it just felt like this was something that had the legs to become a video and felt it should be because. Um, There's a lot that comes out each month, and it's good to navigate through them, know what's worth your time, what's not, how to watch them, etc. So let's start positive. What to watch? So concluding on the 1st of November, the show. It was only the second half of season one, but Primal. I wrote a review on it not too long ago. It's fantastic. An animated series by the creator of Samurai Jack. No dialogue in it whatsoever. Samurai Jack, they played with that, but no dialogue in the show whatsoever. It's a really heartfelt, beautiful animation with a lot of amazing action and a genuine large amount of heart. Very compelling to watch. And kind of unlike anything else out there. Um, so I definitely recommend you watch Primal. That to me, that season one was a 9 out of 10, which is a rating that I very, very rarely give. And it's kind of purely because of how unique and interesting the journey is. You know, there's just so much creativity and originality with that show. Next, on the 6th of November on Netflix, they put up a film, The Life Ahead. Sophia Loren, the old Italian actress, plays a Holocaust survivor in Italy that befriends a young African kid, young orphan, and it's a touching, heartwarming story. Not too Hollywood, um, just thoughtful, heartfelt, um, and yeah, nothing gratuitous about it. Just a simple, touching film. Definitely recommend that. That one I gave a 7 out of 10 too. Um, 7 out of 10 for me is a very strong rating. It means something was strong and it was good. And therefore, to me, getting to 9 and then the rarity of a 10 um, is a lot harder. Carrying on the 15th of November, um, we had Small Axe debut with Mangrove. Mm. Small Axe, yeah, it's a series of films, 5 films, so TV show and film combination. One a week airing on BBC One. Um, yeah, and Mangrove was a really compelling and important film. Reminded me of Trial of the Chicago 7, but with genuine emotion and passion added to it. It wasn't just trying to have this quick fire, witty Hollywood dialogue and have people show each other up. It was a lot more based in truth and fact and emotion and the vibe and the respect for the movement and the culture was all very nice. The film takes its time to set up. As written in my review, one of my only qualms with it is how two-dimensional the bad guys, for lack of a better term, ended up being. But Letitia Wright from Black Panther, she is phenomenal in that film, and the rest of the cast do a really good job. So yeah, that Small Axe Mangrove, I gave that one an 8 out of 10. Then same day, conclusion of The Good Lord Bird, which was an amazing miniseries with Ethan Hawke. He co-created it and starred in it, and Ethan Hawke is an actor who I've seen impress me, and I've switched it off, and I found him pretentious, and I found him amazing in equal measure. Um, but this is his career best performance, in my opinion. Training Day and all of that, it tops it. He's phenomenal. He's crazy, and it's completely the tone of the show. And to deal with such kind of deep subject matter and come off with so much humor and joy without, you know, undermining any of the severity. It's very impressive, Good Lord Bird. It's a show that one of those shows I pester people to watch and they don't watch. But yeah, that's an 8 out of 10. But it was hard for me not to give it a 9. It just, yeah, a high 8. Doobies of movies. And then on the 25th of November, season 2 of Great Pretender came out, which is an anime series, a Netflix original anime that I only really clocked on as I saw kind of what was coming this month, and I went back, watched season 1, and did season 2 as it came out. And that's just a fun ride, really. It's well animated. The soundtrack's cool. The twists and double crosses are quite cool. It's a heist show primarily going around the world. So it's quite different to most anime I've seen, and it might not have necessarily the depth. But it's not without depth. There are emotional stories and backstories. That's generally the most interesting part. The show has potential to be playing quite a long game and building it up and potentially going further. So yeah, it's one I reckon is worth watching for sure. 7 out of 10. Then on the same day, 25th November, Amazon Prime put out a film with Paul Bettany called Uncle Frank. Really touching, deep film again. Paul Bettany, his best performance I've seen, other than him being Vision. The American accent he has as well, it's a southern kind of drawl. He pulls off as well, despite being someone with quite a signature British voice. He pulls off that. The supporting cast around him, you've got, I think it's Sophia Lillis from It and I'm Not Okay With This. You got Steve Zahn. You got, I don't know, Barry's uncle from Barry. So you had a few famous people dotted about supporting cast, and yeah, that was definitely a touching film and a strong film. It's kind of about dealing with shit, really. Then moving on, 29th of November, so the other night, we got Small Axe, Red, White, and Blue. So if you noticed, I've left out the second Small Axe. We'll get to why later in this video, but Red, White, and Blue wasn't as strong as Mangrove, but it was good, and it was nice to see John Boyega actually act, because I didn't want to just rule him out after the new Star Wars films, which I wasn't a fan of any of them. But John Boyega's been quite upfront about this, that, and the other. So I wanted to see if there was actually, you know, if he could put his money where his mouth is, basically, and he is really good. I've got to give it to him. The film was good. It kind of didn't add up to enough, but it says a lot, to be honest, and it had a lot of heart. And also concluding that same night, we had Fargo season 4, which was an amazing ride, as Fargo always is. Again, as a review on my page, I preferred it to season 3, if not reaching the heights of season 2. But yeah, great. Jesse Buckley, Ben Whishaw, Salvatore Esposito, want to give them all a lot of praise. Amazing throughout the season. Chris Rock, reliable as ever. There's going to be a Doobies probably tomorrow, fully on this, so I don't want to go too deep into Fargo, but I gave that a very high 8 out of 10. I originally gave it a 9, but there's just too many things overstuffed and messy throughout the season that giving it a 9 felt like it came too much from the heart and not from the brain. So it's a high 8 for Fargo season 4. And then 3 more shows that are currently ongoing weekly, haven't yet concluded. We've got His Dark Materials on BBC. I fretted and to and froed whether about, again, I'm with my heart and my brain, whether this deserved to be in the what to watch category, but an improvement in the last couple episodes, tied with the fact that the content in the books only gets sicker and sicker and sicker, leads me to think that this is still worth putting in the what to watch category. Um, Mandalorian, the other show with its dark materials I've been doing weekly doobies and movies on. The Mandalorian season 2 has been fantastic. A show that I thought was good in season 1, maybe not great, had all the minerals and materials to turn into something great, and it seems like it's completely doing that in season 2, tying in with the whole universe, linking in together all the films and the animated series, and just generally having a heart and humor and just the right balance of everything. I really want to praise the people for making that show, because Star Wars needed it. Star Wars needed to become fun again, accessible again, and the fact that we're all getting hyped about it again is only a good thing. Um, and the other one is the Flight Attendant. It's actually 2 more episodes will be out tomorrow. Something that you got to find on the internet, but Kaylee Cuoco from Big Bang Theory, another person I guess in that John Boyega category, except the fact that I probably had ruled her out as being able to act. Um, so fair play to her, because she can actually act. And there's a couple other famous faces dotted about that show, but it's pretty much kind of, as I wrote in my little review on my page, it's pretty much the plot of Night Of, but taking away the social political context, taking away the crime thriller drama element, not the thriller element, sorry, the crime drama element, and making it more of a thriller, comic booky, bit more banterous, and slightly less realistic. But it's a lot of fun, and the tone's really unique. And yeah, it's only a mini series. I definitely recommend getting on that train. So now, what not to watch? So on the 11th of November, Netflix dropped a mini series called The Liberator. It had some cool things about it, real kind of people animation style, trying to show the diversity of the American army in World War II, but felt too much like patting America on the back, and almost the show patting themselves on the back for showing these kind of Native Americans within the American army, but never really saying anything deeper or more intellectual, and kind of being a bit lame. Then on the 20th of November, Hulu dropped the 2020 reboot of Animaniacs, old cartoon. Steven Spielberg and one of the old writers from Family Guy made it together, and it just felt a little bit too much like Family Guy with kind of musical songs, and whilst being a kind of kids vibe, it just didn't really mesh for me completely, and I found it a bit annoying. Then on the 22nd of November, we had Small Axe, Lovers Rocks, the second Small Axe. I really did enjoy this. Gave it a 5 out of 10, and I still wonder whether there's some element of me being nice. It was incredibly pretentious. The plot lines and things, the layers, everything put into it was done to kind of mean nothing other than make these very vague, pretentious, abstract points about different things like sexuality and rape and feminism and things, and not making any point. Like, it does feel like we've got to a certain point where you just have to put those things in your script. You don't have to say anything witty on them. You don't have to say any observation on them that you've noticed or insight that you need to add to the table. It's just an ingredient you can use to make your show or story better. And I think that's the definition of gratuitous at the end of the day. And it maybe wasn't gratuitous in other senses because it was trying to be artistic. I like the rave scenes. I like the way you see them set up the decks at the beginning and they're partying all night, and that's something that could have been a really cool thing to do had there been a really cool brewing tensions and underlying plot lines within the show, that they just weren't. Um, Moving on. 23rd of November, FX dropped a 3-part mini-series called Black Narcissus. I think actually it's soon to be dropping on BBC One. Please don't bother. Another thing that didn't know what it was, like some gothic horror or some drama about nuns and religion and philosophy. totally didn't land. It was shot well, um, but no, not worth watching. And one still ongoing weekly, Moonbase 8 on Showtime. Not funny, not worth it. Industry, a collaboration between HBO and BBC. Uh, Sometimes I shouldn't need words to explain disdain. There was just a very off-putting and irking element to that show, and even the name and the vibe and the jokes and the characters. It wasn't a show I wanted to continue with. I knew that immediately. Um, and also another show ongoing weekly, A Teacher. Also FX. Yeah, just again one of those shows where it's clear to me after a certain amount of minutes that it's just not. It's just not for me, and I'd like to say that it's not for you. So, what to watch? Summary: Primal, Life Ahead, Small Axe, Mangrove, Good Lord Bird, Great Pretender, Uncle Frank, Small Axe, Red, White, and Blue, Fargo, His Dark Materials, The Mandalorian, Flight Attendant. What not to watch? Liberator, Animaniacs, Small Axe, Lovers Rock, Black Narcissus, Moonbase, Industry, and A Teacher. I've been Anton. This is Doobies and Movies. We're going to be back at you hopefully tomorrow with an episode about Fargo season 4. So stay tuned. We're going to unpack the new Mandalorian episode. The next is Dark Materials as per usual. And there's going to be more and more and more coming over the next couple months. So stay lit, live strong, stay tuned. All of those great things. Subscribe, like, keep smoking doobies and keep watching movies. Big up.